Wednesday is here. Wednesday inakuaga siku ya clinic ya mfuko. Kama kawaida bench nimeweka hapo nje. Sanitize. We expanded the room so that we can accommodate more people in the clinic. This month we are focusing on online issues. Today we want to talk about the transition to online marketing and online business and all that. You have your business, you know, the brick and mortar business that we are used to. How do you now begin to maximize on all these online platforms that have been made available to us today? Is it possible to ignore these platforms and still thrive in your business? Those are some of the things we want to look at today. I've got two digital experts with me in studio via Zoom. I've got Gyrix Okech. Gyrix, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning.
Karibu sana. I've never had that name before. You're the first person I've had with the name Gyrix. It's a very unique name.
Yeah, I've never come across it before as well.
Wow, great. Karibu sana, good to have you on board. We also have Cynthia Wamwero in studio with us today. Cynthia, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very fine. Karibu sana, I finally get to host you on my show.
Yeah, finally.
Finally. Well, let's jump right into it. And, you know, my first question would be, maybe Cynthia, you can answer this one. There's so many online platforms. There's so much that's happening online. And for me, who has been having a business, maybe I provide a service or I sell a product. Niko na kaduka kangu, or I have my office there, but I want to start maximizing on this online space to create awareness, to market my services and my products. How do I know where to begin? Because there's so much out there.
Right. Okay. So first things first, you need to understand what your who your audience is, right? So choosing the right platform is highly dependent on your audience and your goals. So you need to ask yourself who your typical customer is. So how old are they? Who are they? Where exactly do they spend time on? When they're on social media, are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? And what is your business goal? So this is the very first step you need to take when you need to, before you go out and start on any social media platform or any digital platform out there.
Okay, that's interesting because, you know, the assumption, Gyrix, would be, bandika tu mapicha hapo Facebook, kuna kuwaga na ingine inaitwa Instagram ya mapicha, just post your stuff there. You know, if I post my stuff there, the assumption is people will see it and people will know about my business. So are we saying it doesn't really work that way, Gyrix?
Yeah, sure. One thing for sure, you first have to identify the right audience for your product, then do your brand identity through visual so that you get to understand your product, so that when you are selling your products, you don't communicate what you are selling, but you communicate the why your product, because you realize there are so many people out there who are dealing with the same thing you are dealing about. But what will make you stand out is identifying your brand identity, the why you are doing that product.
Okay, how do you do that?
You do that through visual and sensual identities. That is through doing the right images, doing videos, and doing pictures. And they should be visuals that communicate to the buyer the moment they see them. Like, they don't need too much explanation, but the moment they just see them, they understand this is exactly what you're doing.
Okay, but I'm thinking there must be a process to this, Cynthia, because I see some people who post stuff and it kind of gets a lot of traction. And there are others who post stuff and you're thinking, my friend, funga duka uende nyumbani, because it seems like no one is biting, no one is commenting, no one is liking. And it kind of seems like there's like a formula, there's a way you need to do things online, whether you're promoting your business or you're creating awareness about something. So I really want us to dig into that process so that our audience can understand why it seems to work for some people and it seems not to work for some people. So what is this process? What do I need to know in terms of how these online platforms operate and how people interact with them? Cynthia.
Okay, So first things first, I've categorized that process personally into 3 stages. So there's before you set out your profiles, before you set out your presence on social media. Number 1, you need to define your goals. So you need to set out clear goals for your brand before you create your online presence. So a few goals would be awareness. Do you just want people to know you exist? If that is the case, then sharing out a few posts would be ideal. However, you could have other goals such as building your brand, or maybe you just want to increase traffic to your website or build revenue for your business. So the first crucial step is to identify what your goal is, and once you have identified what your goal is, then you can go on ahead and decide on the various platforms to put your brand based on these goals. Secondly, you need to build a strong online presence. So the basic online presence that people have is social media, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. However, most people, their presence isn't felt by their customers because they aren't very active. So you need to understand your why, just like Gyrick said. So the first step you need to do is create an online strategy. A strategy is basically a plan. So you need to have a plan of where you want to take your brand, why are you on social media, how will you get there, and clearly highlight all of these steps before you set out to go on any social media platform. Once you identify your why, the why of your brand, the why of your business, then it becomes so much easier to craft your brand promise. It becomes so much easier to send out the messages for your audience, and you can easily relate and resonate with your audience because whatever posters, whatever videos, whatever content you're sharing out, they resonate with and they can easily say, yes, this person knows who I am and that's why I'm following this person. Next, you need to understand who your target audience is. Yes. So before you create this community, we need to realize that we cannot target everyone at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Right. So as a business owner, you first need to do your research, find out what need is in the market that you can solve, and hopefully it's a market that is overly saturated.
Yes.
For example, I identified 2 business people who have realized that they want to venture into the clothing business. So they want to set up a store online. So there's the first person who doesn't have an understanding of who his audience is, of his or her audience is.
Yeah.
So they just target everyone and anyone. So they put out posts for instance, clothes for men, women, and children of all ages. And basically, there's no structure. They're just putting out content for everybody. And there's business person B who has specifically targeted luxury, to sell out luxury products for men who are probably in the ages of 24 to 40, probably living in Nairobi and have an above average kind of income. So it is from these 2 descriptions, you can clearly see that person B has a targeted kind of audience, will definitely send out targeted and specific personalized messages for these people and has a higher chance of getting more sales, as you say. Some people will post and their page is so dry, but others post and they get to have that, the it factor. So you just need to understand your audience, understand your why, and then build out your plan based on that.
Okay. Gyrick, back to you on the whole aspect of building an audience. I think that's one of the challenges a lot of people face when it comes to these online platforms. Are there tricks one can use? Is there a process one needs to follow to be able to build an audience? I used to hear you can buy likes, you can buy followers. Are those things true? Do those things work? What do I need to do? I'm starting from scratch. Niko na kastol kangu kanguo. Let's say I'm the one who wants to deal with those luxury items for men between 24 and 40, like Cynthia has said. How do I begin to build an audience?
One of the ways of building an audience, I'd say, maybe to add on what Cynthia said, is you need to create your own website. By creating a website, you will be able to have Google Analytics, which you can use to identify from which part of the social media do I get most of my inquiries.
Okay.
Another thing will be listening to customers' feedback. Yeah, when you listen to the feedback of the people, it will help you really to understand your audience. Some of the things will be like creating a story within your product, that is doing a blog. So when you write a blog about your product, it helps people. And when you're writing a blog, you remember to use keywords. And keywords are very key, because you realize when people are looking for products online, they look on Google, and there are keywords that there's a way people look for products.
Yes.
So there's a software, keyword anyway, that can always tell you which keywords to use when doing a description or doing a title for your product. Yeah. Thank you.
That's good. Now we are talking about online and the transition from the Kawaida business, brick and mortar, into online marketing and just creating a presence online. If you have an experience you want to share, or maybe a question you want to ask our guest today, feel free to do so. 20316 is the SMS line. Our WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. And shortly we'll talk about what are some techniques people use to just create awareness and to drive people either to their page or to their website. What are some of the techniques somebody can use? We'll talk about that shortly. And Guy Ricks, before we talk about some of the tricks that people use, what are some of the common mistakes you've seen people making when it comes to, getting into this online platform, trying to create awareness about your product or about your services? What are common mistakes people make?
Thank you so much. The common mistakes I've witnessed so much is the way people title and describe their products.
Oh.
The titles, if you look at the titles of the products they post, the description, they are far away from the keywords, or rather the keywords people are looking with when they are searching for such products. You find someone posting a laptop and you just write the title as laptop. So, and so when someone is looking for a laptop, you know what you're looking for. Maybe, maybe you need a Dell, you need an HP, you need a MacBook. So the title I've said should be very consistent with the keywords. You can always look at the keywords. How do people look for, or how do people search for laptops on the social media? Then you use such kind of keywords, so that when they are looking for such products, they
find you.
They find you. Another thing that people really ignore so much is blog. Most people don't create blog. They don't create stories on their products, and these are some of the things that help you rank high when people are looking for products on the social media.
Why are those stories important? Why is it important to blog?
Blog is important because blog is like a story. You are telling a story about your product, and in between the story, you use the keywords people like when they are looking for such product. So when you are creating a blog, when someone is looking for a product on Google, they easily find you, like you appear among the top sites. So that is the importance of a blog.
Okay.
So like you create a story of like 300 words. Among the 300 words, you use keywords. So like in between the 300 words, if you are doing a good blog, you won't miss the keywords people are searching.
Okay, so when they search, they find your blog.
Exactly.
Okay. Cynthia, maybe this question can lead us into what we wanted to talk about, just different ideas and tricks people use to get people to come to their sites or to come to their websites. Somebody's asking, how do I convert these likes and follows into customers? Because, you post stuff, people like, people say it's good, but it ends there. How do I turn that into a customer who actually comes and pays for a service or buys a product?
Well, okay, good question. So how to convert? Number one, once you have your goals in place and you have your target audience, because most of the times you'll realize that people don't really know who their market is, right? So that's why you're posting out a bunch of products, you're posting out content, but no one is really resonating with it because they're not really falling into your target audience. So that's what you really need to hone into. So the first thing, I've realized that most small business owners, they just jump into online marketing. So they don't really do any research. So you need to first do your research before you get into online marketing. So there's various digital platforms that we can maximize on. For instance, social media marketing. Yeah. So you if you're posting on Instagram and you're not getting that conversion that you want, probably you could try optimizing your bio, right? You could try optimizing your profile. Put out the relevant keywords. For instance, if you're a boutique, for example, make sure that you're set in Kenya. If your target audience is in Kenya, make sure that you have the relevant audience in place. Make sure you're using the relevant hashtags, or you can go on ahead and use paid campaigns. That is also one of the ways you can push out your content to very specific people, because digital marketing is not like traditional marketing whereby you're just, casting a wide net and hoping someone would catch it. But you have, you can set out you can target specific people to see your ad. So that is one of the ways you can maximize on your conversion as well. So you can use paid ads, you can optimize your profile, use relevant keywords, relevant hashtags. So yeah.
Okay. Guidix, I've had people say that as much as you can maximize on social media platforms, it's also good to build your own website, because you're not really in control of the social media platforms. You can decide one day, like they decided to shut out Trump, and there's nothing much you will do about it. You can lose your page, and there's nothing much you can do about it. So how do you bring people from your social media platforms to your website? How do you ensure they end up on your website?
Thank you. Building on our website, I would say, is something good because it creates trust even on your buyers. So when you build a website, there's what we call SEO, search engine optimization.
Yes.
There's on-site and SEO and off-site. So when you want to attract people to your website, you need to work so well on both off-site and on-site. On-site SEO is where you are technically describing the products using keywords on your website as you post your products on your website. But off-site SEO is where you are using other online platforms to drive traffic to your website. Like, so maybe you build a website, you look at you try to look at one of the biggest classified we have around in Kenya. Then you maybe do a banner with them, and then that banner is being directed to your website. So in that case, when people click on that banner, they land on your website. So that's one of the ways of building your traffic on your website. So technically, SEO, both off-site and on-site SEO.
Okay, I've seen situations, and I see this a lot, Cynthia, on social media, where somebody's offering you a free ebook, or somebody's offering you a free something, and they tell you to click here to claim your free whatever, and you follow the breadcrumbs, and before you know it, you're somewhere registering for a course, and you pay what. What's the rationale behind the freebies to attract people to a particular site, or to attract people to an event? How do people use those free things to be able to rope people in?
Great. So freebies are good to, attract your audience and to just give some people love free things. Yeah. So people love, when they can get free content in return. So most of the time, if you're, for instance, an artist or you're a motivational speaker, before someone signs up for your event, it will be a hurdle. But you can go on ahead and, spice up the offer by giving them something free that they can use. So you can give them probably a piece of content that you have written, or you can just give them a discount on your event, or just something. It's basically to attract your audience into doing something that you want, into taking that particular course of action that you desire them to take.
Okay. Social media, that word social, it's a platform where people want to socialize, people want to interact, and so here I am coming in and I want to do business. What should I have in mind where the social aspect is concerned? Because I see sometimes people just put one post after another buy this, I'm selling this, buy this, I'm selling this. And I realized, okay, not many people are biting. So what's the social aspect that I need to be aware of if I'm using social media platforms to, create awareness about my product or my event or my services?
Right. So you can share out different types of content. You don't really need to share out salesy kind of content every time. So you can decide today you're going to share out a funny post, a funny video, you get, or just something interactive. You can ask your audience a question, right? You can, for instance, if you're on Instagram, you can share out a poll or something just to interact with your audience. So the goal is to interact with your target audience. The goal is to have an engaging in conversation with them and build a community. And you cannot build out a community if all you're doing is just sending out sales message, buy this, buy this, buy this every time. So you can break the monotony of doing a sales pitch every time by sharing inspirational content or educative content or funny content, just to break the barrier and just have that conversation with your audience. Secondly, you can engage directly with your audience. So if you're on any social platform, you realize that there's probably people who are following you on a consistent basis. So you can just go on their page, like a few posts, interact with them, just make sure that you see them, just make them know that you see them and they exist. And that way, you form a kind of relationship. And therefore, you're on a way to building a community.
Okay. What about response, Gyrix, response, online response? I sometimes see people frustrated because somebody posted something and you're asking questions and no one is responding to it. When you have that kind of a scenario where you're trying to create awareness about your brand or about your business or about a product and you just post it out there and you leave it there, and people want a response. People are asking, how much is it? People are asking, where can I get you? And no one is responding. What does that do to your credibility online?
Yeah, so that's one of the mistakes I think most sellers do. Because one thing you need to have in mind that you are not the only person selling, and there are people who when they inquire, they need instant response. So you just need to be very proactive on the way you respond to inquiries, because if you delay, the possibilities of this buyer finding the same product from some other person is very high. So it's all about being proactive on your response. Just to add on something Cynthia talked about, on social media, there's boosting a product and there's also the sponsoring a product.
Okay.
You see, when you're boosting a product, it's what you're talking about. You're showing it to anybody. But like we have said before, you need to target your audience. So there's a difference between boosting an ad and sponsoring an ad. And in social media, if you would love to have good returns, people coming to buy, then you should sponsor your product so that you select the audience, the exact audience that you want, instead of just boosting your ad. That's one of the mistakes that people make.
Can you explain to us the difference between the two? The difference between sponsoring and boosting? What's the difference?
Boosting is just like what you are saying. You just go on your social media account and post the ad and leave it there. But sponsoring is where you select your target audience into detailed. Probably using an ad manager, the best one to use, an ad manager. Then through ad manager, you are able to select your audience in detail. But see, when you're sponsoring, you just post it there, then you leave it there, like just someone posting something on there. You are just like any other person posting anything on their social media account.
Okay. Is it important, Cynthia, to build a community around whether it is your business or around your product or event? Does that help? And if it does help, how does one now begin to build a community of people who want to be associated with your brand, or a community of people who love your brand so much they end up telling other people about it? Is that important, and how do you do that?
Yes, building a community is very important. You can do that by, for instance, if you have a website, yes, the first step is to, you can have a blog. So you need to do keyword research, like you said. So if you're in a particular space, you need to identify what are people searching so that I can be a part of what they're searching. And then you need to create content that resonates around that particular topic. So you can have blog posts, you can have videos, you can have posters, images. So you just you need to create content that they will resonate with. That is the first step to creating a community. The next step is to communicate with this community, because you want a people who are interactive. You just don't want 1,000 people, 1,000 followers, or 1,000 likes, but people aren't really converting. So you need people who are actually talking to you. Reach out to your audience. If you have a Facebook page, for example, when someone joins your Facebook page, do you acknowledge their existence? Do you say, oh, hey, how are you? Thank you for coming into my page. This is what you do. This is what you expect. Hope you feel welcome. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. So basically, you need to communicate to your audience. Take them through the process of becoming a part of your community. If it takes just, signing up for an email and getting like an email a week, tell them this is what you will get from me. Give your outcomes, give your expectations beforehand so your community knows and expects. Similarly, if you have, for instance, a YouTube page, be consistent in posting, right? If you're posting once a week, tell your audience, I'll be here every Friday at 10 p.m. Make sure to tune in. That way they're expecting you. That way they're anticipating, oh wait, at 10 p.m. I need to tune in to Pastor Jemo so I can listen to his show. So basically you need to engage with the audience, interact, acknowledge their existence. Yeah.
You mentioned
just a few things you can do.
Okay. Gary, Cynthia mentioned something about email. Having having people sign up for email, and maybe you send them an email once a week or monthly and all that. I used to think hizo ni vitu za kitambo. So are emails still effective?
Yeah.
Sure, very effective. Mail shots are very effective. They have a very conversion rate when it comes to online marketing. So that is one thing you need to encourage. When people come to your website, let them sign their emails. Have them then once a week, do them a mail shot. Very effective, good results.
Because you keep people in touch with you and what's happening in your organization.
Sure.
Okay. Well, shortly we'll talk about, we had talked about this in the previous show, but I want to talk about it again. The whole issue of social media influencers and whether this really works, and which are the best times, or what kind of products do you use for social media influencers? Is it worth it, or is it just hype? We'll look at that shortly. In the meantime, if you have any questions for us, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786316316. It is 7:45. It is the Financial Clinic. We are talking about the transition to online marketing. We are hanging out with Gyrix Okech and Cynthia Wamwero. Gyrix, the whole aspect of social media marketing. There's a brand of people who've risen up. They call themselves social media influencers, not marketers, social media influencers. So if I have a product, if I have a service, if I have an event, and I'm thinking of using a social media influencer, what do I need to know, and does it really work?
Yeah, influencers are so good when you need brand awareness. You need to stay on top of mind. You need people to see you outside there. I'd say they are so good when it comes to that. They might not really result into conversion per se, but they will keep your brand on top of mind. Like, people will be there thinking about your brand. So I'll say they are good when you need, at a time when you need brand awareness, when you need to be at top of mind.
So people will you will be on people's lips, so to speak.
Exactly, like a good one more so on Twitter. Twitter works so well when you need to be in top of mind.
Okay. Cynthia, I'll take you back to something you mentioned earlier on, consistency. You mentioned a bit on consistency when you talked about YouTube and all that. Is it important for one to have a plan in terms of what I'm going to be posting, whether it's on a daily basis or a weekly basis or however it is you post, so that I'm not all over the place, and give us more information on why it is important to be consistent.
Absolutely. It's very, very important to have a content plan. So the first thing is to create a social media strategy. So in this strategy, you need to highlight, okay, so what do I want to do with this social media platform? Before you create that YouTube channel, what do you want to do? What do you want to talk about? Is there a market for what you want to talk about? So you need to have this plan set in place before you just jump ship and create this channel. It's important to also create a content calendar, because you need to, you can even create content like months in advance, yeah? So you can you can do a keyword research. Again, this keyword is really, really important.
Yes.
This research is very important. So you do the keyword research, identify what your audience really wants to hear. What do they want to listen you talk about, right? So have these key topics planned out in advance, create content on each of these topics, then shoot each of these videos, even in advance. You can do about 2-3 videos in a day. You can just change your outfits. That's just one of the tactics people do. And shoot this content in advance. Prepare them in advance. Have at least 3 or 4 videos at any time before you have any content, because this consistency ensures that you're creating a brand. You know, creating a brand is it needs more consistency than just waking up and posting today. You're not in the mood to post or something. So you need to have that plan. You need to have that content plan. This content plan needs to have your content. It needs to have the timelines. It needs to have the key metrics. What are you trying to achieve? What are you measuring with this audience? Do you want to have affiliate marketers in your brand? Do you want to have influencer marketers trying to promote, different kind of platforms? What are you trying to achieve? That is the most important thing. Understanding your goals, understand your audience, have a content plan, have a strategy in place, and that will be, that will help you build consistency and help you create a brand.
Okay. Gyrix, we are almost out of time. What would your parting shot be?
Okay, thank you. The world, we are moving so quickly into digital world. And this is something we need to embrace more so when we want to progress so well in our businesses.
Yes.
But I'll say at the same time, don't ignore the analog. There are a group of people who still believe in analog.
Yeah.
So as you concentrate so much on social media marketing, don't ignore things like flyers for the analog people for once in a while. Though not much too on budget on them, but just one in a while.
Okay.
One thing I'll emphasize is that people buy from people they believe in, people who share the same value. And even in friendship, you become friends with people you share the same value, people you share the same belief in.
Yes.
So when you are marketing your products on social media, try to communicate more of your why than your what. Don't tell people what you are selling, but tell them why you are selling it. Try to win trust of clients through communicating more of your why. The mistakes people make so much, they tell us what they are doing, what they are selling, but they don't tell us why are they selling it. So that you avoid manipulative kind of selling, but inspiration, you go the inspiration way. Through that, you will attract more people to your platform and to your website and to your accounts, and that will mean more sales for your side. I know you might not be in a position to create your website, more so when you're a small business. Starting your business, you can start by using the classifieds or the e-commerce we have around in the country to help you start up as you look to build your own social media accounts.
Great. Thank you so much, Gyrix. Cynthia, parting shot.
Yeah, so digital marketing is here to stay. So we really need to embrace it, right? Because it's a very cost-effective way that we can all utilize to reach a larger audience than we normally would in a traditional kind of setting. The online marketing space is it easily allows us to target very specific people. So every small business owner really needs to, jump ship into these platforms. The other thing is you have total control over where you spend your money, right? You can choose to spend it on Facebook ads, you can choose to have organic content, you can choose to spend it on optimizing your website, you can choose to spend it on creating blogs. So all of these different platforms are good, and they are measurable. That is the other good thing. They are measurable. Unlike traditional marketing, you can place an ad on a billboard. For one, it's very expensive, but you won't really know how many sales were as a result of this particular billboard, how many people converted or walked into my business because of this billboard. But in digital marketing, you can really you can know, because you have the analytics. If on Instagram there's analytics, on Facebook there are the analytics, on your website you can use Google Analytics. Everywhere you can literally measure and know which kind of content is performing, what kind of content does my audience want. So basically we all need to embrace digital marketing because it's really great.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cynthia and Garrix, thank you so much for finding the time to be with us today on the Financial Clinic. Mkuwe na siku njema.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much for this.
I'm out of time for the clinic today. Clinic imefungua. Tutafungua tena next week as we continue with another topic. Thank you so much for being a part of it. God willing, we'll hook up again tomorrow on Jan 3:16. Have a good day.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.